Townsend. You're watching Reality Survival. So today what we're going to take a look at is just going to be a little project that I've been working on for, I don't know, off and on for several days. I probably have, I don't know, I didn't really track it, but a total of 8 to 12 hours in this little project. And what it is it's an ammo can stove, and I have not been out to burn it yet, to burn it off. Just got it finished, so I'm just going to kind of do an overview, and then I'll do a field test later on. But this is the stove here, and you know, I've been wanting to build one of these for quite a while. So I watched several different YouTube videos, looked at several different designs, and then kind of came up with what I thought was perhaps the best design, hopefully improving, you know, taking bits and pieces from each thing and then coming into this design here. I don't know how it'll work. We'll have to see, you know, once we get out into the field. But let me go ahead and show you what it is we got. It's built out of a 20 millimeter ammo can. I think that cost me about $20 at the local Army surplus store. It's got a 4-inch top vent, and I've got additional chimney pieces that I'll show you here in a second. We've got a door in the front for feeding it. We got a vent right here. Again, here in a second I'll give you a little closer look. I've got some feet on the bottom to help it be more stable. And I think it's going to work out okay. My design idea was basically to try to leave the ammo box as intact as possible. So, because when you burn these things, that you get a lot of expansion and warping and all that kind of stuff, because you know they're just not made to be a stove or an oven or whatever. And so I tried to leave in all the braces, all the double layer sections and the lid, you know, all that kind of stuff to help keep its rigidity. So the box is actually flipped upside down, and the cooking surface is up here on top, because that is a single layer and it'll hopefully transfer the heat the most efficiently. That's at least my goal anyway. And then I can pop the top off, and then this way the idea behind this is that the ashes and the coals and everything like that will be down in here, and it'll be easy to dump out and clean out, as opposed to having to try to have like an extra door or something like that that's just going to weaken the integrity to pull all the coals and ashes out and everything. I also, see if you can see this here, for the feet I'm just using some basic you know, closet hangers, you know, basically like a clothes hanger or whatever, like to hang your coat on, a coat hanger. These are stainless steel. The metal's pretty soft, so I'll have to see how that's going to work out. But I basically just put them right in these corners here, this reinforced corner that's made into the steel, and just put them out at a 45. That way we get a little bit of a wider base. And then this is the inside here, and I just use wing nuts in case I want to take those off in the field. I can do that fairly easily. And then I also took some fiberglass roping and some high temperature silicone and put that around the edges so that it still seals up good. Because when it comes out of the factory, there's a rubber ring that goes around there, and you've got to pull that out. And then if you don't put in some substance like that fiberglass roping, then the box doesn't seal up. It'll kind of rattle and stuff. But when you do it like this, it'll actually seal up pretty good. There. So let me go ahead and just pull this out. This is the part that the flue and the venting part is the part that I'm most unhappy with so far. Ideally, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little 4-inch flue to put in here to be able to control, you know, how much smoke is being let out, how much heat's being let out. It's got the holes already drilled for it. I just have to find one. All the stores in our area, nobody carries this. So what I came up with on my own, and like I said, I'm not a big fan of it, but is just a cap. And then I took and drilling 1/2-inch holes through sheet metal is not actually easy to make it come out clean and neat, so it kind of looks like garbage. But so I basically took this and then pop riveted that in place, and then I can just turn this, you know, to where it'll be mostly closed. It still let some air out, but it's mostly going to be closed. Or I can open it up all the way and then have, you know, the 8 1/2-inch holes, or I can just pop the whole top off. If I'm wanting to get it going at the very beginning, I can just take this whole cap off and just let it run, you know, free flow or whatever. So, you know, that's, and that could serve as somewhat of a weatherproof, you know, to keep rain from going down the top of it or whatever. I don't really like this design. I'm not sure that I'm going to stick with this. I think having the regular flue damper would probably be better. These, I don't know if you noticed, but these are all cut to fit so that it fits inside of here, and that seems to work out pretty well. You put these inside of each other, and I could easily do another section or two and put them inside of each other if you wanted. I was just really looking for, this just snaps together. I was just looking for something that would get the smoke up high enough, and hopefully, you know, just a couple of feet to get it out of your face, and also to create a draft to pull, you know, to kind of be pulling that heat out. So there's that, and then so it's pretty basic, pretty self-contained. And then on the front of it, I don't know if you guys can see this. I'm going to give you some close-ups of this here in a second, and I may run it through as we're doing it. On the door, I've just got a little 3-inch hinge, strap hinge on the back side here, and then I've just got a little latch right here, and that closes up nicely. And I use the original can steel for the door. Now I made my cuts were a little off, so I had to go back and put in a little patching piece here so that it wouldn't be sucking too much air. And then that's pretty much it. Like I said, I'll give you guys a closer look. Oh, the one other thing I did want to show you is on the inside. Oops. On the inside, I also put this piece of metal, and I just pop riveted it, you know, on the side over the vent, the chimney vent. And the idea is that forces the air to come back around and get reburned before it goes back out, to hopefully reduce the amount of smoke and stuff like that comes out of it, and hopefully, you know, help it to be as efficient as possible. While I have you here, I'll just show you the door and stuff. That's the door to feed in the stuff, and then it, you know, like I said, it's got that tray here that basically forces the air to kind of circulate down here and then come out the top. And then we've got the vent on the side, which I just used the 4-inch plug that I cut out of here for this, and I can kind of push that pretty tight still, but I can push that so I can close it up or open it back up so that I've got a little bit more airflow if needed. And of course, you can obviously, you know, do airflow through the door, you know, as well. But yeah, I mean, it seems like it'll be okay. This is the top part here. I've just got it riveted in with 4 rivets and then some high temperature silicone now. I don't know, I may need to get a higher temperature silicone because this is only a 600 degree. I might have to get like a 1500 degree silicone. But we shall see. Time will tell. The thing that I like about it is, you know, I can still carry it. I can still leave the handles on it and everything like that. The only thing that's really, you know, cumbersome is this piece that you got to kind of be careful with. But it can still stand, you know, up on end and stack in there even with the legs that are on it. Obviously, as I said before, I could take the legs off, you know, if I wanted to, but you know, it'll sit just fine with it on. So probably just leave it as it is. So as far as the tools that I needed to make this, a couple of important pieces other than just regular hand tools. You got to have a 4-inch. That was a pretty high cost. Getting the arbor hole cutting saw, and then the arbor for it, and the hole and the saw portion. I think it was like $40. So that was kind of ridiculous. I didn't really want to pay that much for it. You need to have a skill saw or some other kind of hand saw that you can kind of put down into a small hole and cut out on an interior piece, you know, for like that door section. That was pretty important. And then obviously, you know, a big 1/2-inch drill to be able to cut that plug out. And then just some blades and some drill bits and some hand tools. It wasn't really a hard project. Coming up with exactly what design I wanted to do was probably the most difficult part of it. But it was kind of tedious, and it kind of took quite a while. So as far as what it's used for, let me talk about that real quick. I think I was going to say that a minute ago. So, you know, you could use something like this in a small canvas tent. You could use it inside of, like, you know, perhaps a natural shelter or something like that, you know, like a bug out kind of situation. You can self-contain the fire inside of this. It's up off the ground enough, and it's got double layer of steel down here on the bottom, so it shouldn't hopefully transfer too much heat down to here. You may want to put a couple of rocks under it or something, I don't know. But it's going to put off heat, and you're going to be able to cook off the top of it, to boil water and that kind of thing, you know, right off of here. So I just wanted a stove that I would be able to feed, you know, sticks and wood and stuff like that down into, and then, you know, hopefully reduce the smoke signature and that kind of stuff, you know, through the use of the exhaust and everything like that, and hopefully being more efficient. We'll have to see how it turns out. I don't know for sure. So I guess the question then is, would I do this project again, and is it worth it? I don't really think so. I'm showing you guys this thing. I think the only people that I could recommend a project like this for is if you have a lot of time and you already have a lot of the tools, like the hole saw and all that kind of stuff, then it may be worth it. But if you've got $100, you can just get those like the TMS stove off of Amazon, and it's probably going to do every bit as good as all this. And I probably have, with the ducting and the saw that I had to buy and the other pieces and rope, the fiberglass rope and the sealant and the hinges and all that kind of stuff, I probably got about $100 in it anyway, not including the 8 or 12 hours of time that I had to put into it to get it to put together. Now, there's a degree of satisfaction that comes along with, you know, making a project yourself and doing it and all that kind of stuff. But to be honest, I think one of those TMS stoves is probably going to be just as good, and it's going to be easier. I'll put a link to one of those down in the Amazon description below if you're looking into getting something like this. You know, this could be good in a bug-in or a bug-out situation. It doesn't have to be just in the woods. Any kind of a stove like this that gives you the opportunity to burn basically wood or biomass or whatever the case may be, you could use it at your house on your back porch or whatever too, you know. I mean, again, you've got to watch your signature with smoke and all that kind of stuff and whatever, but it is a possibility. It's going to cut down on the light a lot, you know, because it's all self-contained and everything like that. So it was kind of a fun project, but I guess it just took a little more tedious than what I than what I generally like. So anyhow, guys, as always, I definitely appreciate it when you click the thumbs up button, when you share it with your friends on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. If you've got any ideas for ways to make this better, then I would definitely be interested in hearing that. You could throw those down in the comments below. I'd take a look at it and I'll be curious to see what you come up with. I know the damper is one thing that I need to fix already for sure. But yeah. So if you guys like videos like this, if you like wilderness survival, disaster preparedness, and outdoor gear reviews, then please click the subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, then click the little bell button next to it so it'll send you an email every time we upload. And as always, guys, don't forget to live the 6 Ps. Prior preparation prevents poor performance. Stay safe, guys.